Hello, welcome back. How are you all? Hope you're all staying safe in the UK because of this storm Dara that's currently battering the place or threatening to. Be safe, and I hope all of those around you remain safe as well. Just a thank you, really. I hadn't posted or uploaded a video for bloody hell, nearly 2 years. And sort of over the last 2 weekends posted 4, and the response to those videos was really lovely and very encouraging as well. Even though I had not posted any content for a while, I never used to pay attention to views and stuff like that, but over the course of the last couple of weeks, those videos have done really well. Now, I appreciate that's likely because 3 of them were about the Spectrum, which has only been released a couple of weeks, so therefore is quite, I won't say a definite guaranteed hit when it comes to sort of like making videos, but you've still got to put the effort in and make the content and make it worth watching, and they have done really well. But most importantly, the fact that what I started with this for was for the interaction. Didn't care about views and subscribers, like I said. What I did care about was the sort of like sense of community, the generation of discussion, the sharing of information, learning things, the fact that I don't know any of you personally. It was so nice to see some old names that I used to interact with quite a lot when I was very prolific, still there. And thank you to everyone for that, and thank you for your words of encouragement. They've really been very, very gratefully received. It really means a lot to me. It really does. And like I said, it was great. Just the amount of comments. Now, I did check the subscriber count, and again, it's not something that was ever really my sort of like motivation for doing things, to get millions and millions of subscribers. And I noticed that from what I remember, I think I was around 4,500, which is decent enough. I've taken a tenth for that, a 20 for that. Like I said, it didn't matter. And when I checked a couple of weeks ago, I was down to about the 4.2s. So people had unsubscribed, and that's absolutely fair enough. I'd stopped making content, and why would you stay subscribed to someone if they're not producing stuff that you want to watch anymore? But the fact that that count has started to creep up again since I started doing the last videos, that's really encouraging, and it means that the kind of experiment, if you like, of coming back and feeling my way back in, the early signs have been really encouraging and positive for me. Now, what am I going to do next? Now, and I can't remember who it was. I do apologise, but someone said about, why don't you do your favourite a video about your favourite 10 Spectrum games of all time? And then I thought, I've already done that years ago. So I had a look, and I did do lots of top 10 videos, top 10 games to recommend, top 10 best looking games, top 10 soundtracks, top 10 this, top 10 that, top 10 the other. But I couldn't find one of my top ZX Spectrum games. So there's an idea that I'll start to work on slowly but surely. So that will be coming. So thank you for that. And also a thing that another comment that was made was along the lines of, welcome back, I can see you've got adverts on your channel, just sit back and watch the money roll in. And I was like, it wasn't a horrible, nasty comment at all, but it did confuse me because I'd never ever had my channel set up for monetization. It just didn't interest me. Um, so I thought, it's adverts, what's all that about? And I've noticed, like, literally every YouTube video nowadays has adverts running. Not every single one, but most of them. So I don't remember setting that up. And I checked one or two of my videos, and lo and behold, there was monetization on it. Sorry, adverts on there, not monetization, because I don't qualify for it, and I'd never set it up. So it seems that that's just a result of circumstance. YouTube obviously changed something over the last few years, so that everything is running advertisements, or most things are. But it certainly wasn't something I ever set up. I don't have Patreon or any of these other streams where viewers, etc., can sort of like donate towards it. Don't get me wrong, I don't decry or criticise those that do, not at all. It's just it was never something for me. I've always felt that if you have these kind of subscription things set up, then you're kind of putting pressure upon yourself to actually do things. And I was so disorganised anyway that being able to keep up with commitments might be difficult, and might make the hobby become unfun, despite there being a potential financial benefit at the end of it. But like I said, it wasn't the financial thing that ever sort of motivated me to do it. I was just so sort of enjoying making the content, etc., that if I'd have done that, I'd have stopped enjoying making it, and I stopped enjoying making it anyway. I kind of burnt myself out, got bored, etc. Still kept my eye on the scene and stuff, but it just became a chore. And I've said this before in other videos, sort of like a couple of years ago, having to sort of like produce one video, especially when I moved to multi-format. I will reintroduce other formats at some point. It became a chore, just setting things up all the time, filming a bit, setting the next machine up, then the next, and then having to try and cobble it all together. It stopped becoming fun. And that's why I kind of sort of stepped away. Thought, right, I need to step back. Other things happened as well, as I explained in other videos, dogs dying and stuff like that. That really kind of knocks you for six. But where was I? So I kind of took a step back. The problem is, the longer a step back you take, the more and more difficult it is to get back into it. And that's why when this is not an advertisement for the Spectrum or anything like that, but when I first got wind of that, I thought, if anything's going to give me an impetus to sort of like ease my way back in, it will be that, because it's plug and play. You don't have to sort of like worry about buying special leads or remembering where you've put the leads when you haven't seen them for ages. So I thought I'll give it a go, and so far it's worked. We do have other sort of interests and things which aren't going to sort of suffer because of this. So, for example, my wife and I now, we have 3 kids. They're all adults now, and we've only got one left at home. We were parents quite young, so literally most of our sort of like early relationship, marriage, up to only about 2 or 3 years ago, we had them all at home, until gradually our son and our youngest daughter sort of like moved out. Our focus was always family oriented, as it should be. But then once all of a sudden they're not there, and our eldest girl still lives at home, but she does her own thing. She goes out to work, and in her spare time she goes to various clubs and stuff. So we were kind of like stuck. It was like the first time for years when you know, we had time to ourselves. Like, what the bloody hell do we do? What do we talk about? So we kind of had to sort of like sit back and think, like, right, what do we do? How do we fill our time? So one of the things, I mean, those of you that are familiar with us on Facebook, sorry, familiar with us, friends with me on Facebook will know that my wife and I have started doing weekends away, sort of like city breaks, etc., which we've really enjoyed. We've done, what have we done? I've put myself on the spot there now. We've been to Edinburgh a couple of times. That's an absolutely fantastic, if albeit slightly expensive place. What a beautiful city. I got dragged up Arthur's Seat wearing just my Converse, you know, a muddy Arthur's Seat, etc. So whilst Mrs. Baz went herring off up to the summit at a rate of knots, I was the fat bloke sitting on a rock with a grumpy face, smoking a fag, muttering under my breath, until eventually I got up there. Cracking view over Edinburgh, by the way. Went to Bath again. That's a city with some beautiful architecture. And York, again, wonderful place. Really stunningly beautiful. I mean, York Minster is just a beautiful building. It really is. That was, were we in, we'd come out the first lockdown then, I think. And then we also had like a couple of weekends away in London, sort of like looking around, because I'm from London, my wife is not. So she was interested in seeing sort of like places where I'd grown up, sort of like Highbury, those kinds of places. And we kind of avoided the touristy bits, although we did go to sort of like HMS Belfast, Southwark Cathedral, all around sort of that area. Borough Market, that was heaving in there. And a couple of holidays, went to Tenerife a couple of times. We've literally just come back from Turkey. Never been there before. Loved it. Well, loved it. Really enjoyed it. It's probably better than loved it, because we went right towards the end of the tourist season, and everything was literally just preparing to close down. Everyone was lovely. All the people we encountered were lovely, but sometimes wandering around the sort of like resort town, it was like a ghost town. You know, the hotel itself wasn't particularly crowded. Just don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing at all. But yeah, so I'm not a fan of going anywhere in school holidays and stuff. We usually go sort of places out of season. But it was just a little bit too quiet. Nothing wrong with it at all. Just a little too quiet. We got into walking. Obviously, we're of an age now where we've got to sort of like look after ourselves. And one of the things, from the previous, I mentioned I went back and checked a couple of my old videos for things, and obviously nowadays we've got to look after ourselves a bit more. You know, we're both in our 50s. She's slightly more early 50s than I am. At the point where things start to ache and creak and crack, and you know, it take longer to recover from certain things. One of the things I noticed, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm Slim Sam or anything, but in those videos I was huge. And I mean big, and I thought, wow, that's bad. And you know, I really looked bad, and still do, because the videos are still up there. And I'm still carrying a bit of timber now. But over the last couple of years, we've sort of like got into walking and, you know, swimming and tennis. That's funny. Not as funny as badminton was, though. Sort of like trying to get like two absolute badminton halfwits trying to hit a shuttlecock over the park is it was highly amusing. But from then till now, I've lost about 25 kilos, which is, and I'm still, not lolly stick thin, but I'm nowhere near as big as I was. And it's just sort of frightened me. You don't know it at the time. You don't notice it. And I suppose I just sort of like lived with it, got used to it, etc. Now if I look at photos of myself to now, and let's say videos, you can see a hell of a difference. And I'm glad we made that change, and also managed to sort of maintain it, changes to diet and stuff. And also, you could still have a kebab and stuff like that, and a big fat burger every now and then, but just not as often as you used to. Excuse me. So, and another reason, one of the things we wanted to do was we had a plan to walk the West Highland Way, which is a walk, believe it or not, from just outside Glasgow to Fort William, I think it is. It's about 93 miles, and it goes along the banks of Loch Lomond. It's a really popular walking route, and we'd started watching videos, ideas for things, and sorry, I'm just putting some Vapo Rub under my nose. That gave us an idea of. Sorry, let me go back and just clarify that. We were looking for ideas of things like walks to do, and there are various recognised routes all across the UK, including one here in Essex. But that one really took our eye, and we thought, like a camping holiday and a walking holiday, and a sort of sense of achievement, etc. So we bought a tent and hiking boots and this, that, and the other. Then Mrs. Baz had to change jobs, and it would have made it extremely difficult to have gone when we planned to go. We didn't go in like the height of summer with all the midges and everything. So that's kind of on the back burner, but we're hoping to resurrect that in a couple of years' time and do it, because there's some absolutely stunning scenery. I mean, Scotland is a beautiful country, but we've only seen cities. I mean, just Edinburgh. We want to see a little bit more of its natural scenery, and what a way to do it. But yeah, how bloody hell did I get onto that? Doesn't matter, does it? 17 minutes already. Wow. So yeah, I just want to sort of recap and say I'm getting ideas for other videos, top 10 sort of like favourite ones, etc. I have enjoyed. It's like it was just put on pause, and it's come back with exactly the same response, reception, etc. Everyone's been great in relation to It's Like I Never Stopped. Some of the names that are coming back up in the comment sections are ones that used to comment regularly back then, and I think that's great. That's so encouraging. I had something else to say, didn't I? Yeah. I'm trying to get good at Manic Miner, but it's not happening. No, but I will do a video on it, because there's no videos of Manic Miner on YouTube at all, is there? But one I am going to do, and it's not one I think I've ever actually done, is I've done nearly 600 videos since 2014, so that shows you how kind of all in I went sort of at the start. And that would be my advice to anyone. Try not to go all in at the start. Leave enough energy back for yourself to do the things that you like and enjoy, so that you're not constantly thinking, oh, I've got to do another video, I've got to do another video. Because as I said, yes, the longer you stay off the horse, the more difficult it is to get back on there. Going back to what I was saying about my weight, I bet the horse enjoyed the break from me being on its back. But yeah, one game I don't think I ever did, but I have mentioned in various Facebook groups, and I think I mentioned it on a couple of videos before. When it comes up, what was the first game that you ever remember playing on the Spectrum. You know, and most people, or a lot of people, say the likes of Jetpack, Manic Miner, etc. Now, I'm fairly certain I didn't have a Spectrum at the time growing up. I had a ZX81 to start with, which I was bought in 1983 when the Spectrum came out in 1982, so thanks Mum and Dad. But a couple of my mates had Spectrums. The first game I ever recall playing is Scuba Dive by Durrell. I've gone over to the side there, haven't I? Is Scuba Dive by Durrell. I'm fairly certain it was that on a friend's one. That was the first one that made me go, wow, look at that, especially when you're coming from the limitations of the ZX81. So like I say, I don't think I've ever done a video of that. I did try and play it a few years ago in order to try and do a video, and you know, I was hopeless, and I'll be hopeless again, but I will do that. Yeah, just for laughs. You know, you're never going to see me complete it. Oh, no, I did complete Bruce Lee. I think that's the only game I've ever completed. Bruce Lee. And that's the easiest game in the world. And even then, sometimes I cock it up royally. But there we go. Still haven't put a curtain up, have I? I do hope when I'm using the front camera on this, I do hope that the writing doesn't come out back to front on those computers on the cabinet behind me. If it does, it does. Doesn't matter, does it? If you are still here at nearly 22 minutes, thank you ever so much for watching. I continue to appreciate everyone's continued support and encouragement. If you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But if you do subscribe, please take the time to join in the discussion, because that's what it's all about. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.